episode of the Game Over Greggy Show is brought to you by Blue Apron. I've talked about Blue Apron quite a bit, ladies and gentlemen, because you know, hashtag cooking with Greggy. I cook all the time. And Blue Apron was a gift my mother gave me last year. I'm pretty sure she did not use the code. I'm not sure if we had the deal. But basically, Blue Apron sends you all the fresh ingredients you need to make awesome meals. And you might say, Greg, I have no talent at cooking like you do. And I will tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, I once had no talent at cooking either before I became the male Rachel Ray. Basically, all you need to do is these are 30-minute meals for the most part. They send you the instructions. You go through step by step with the pre-portioned ingredients, and you make whatever you want. Do you want to know some of the upcoming meals? Hell yeah, you do. Seared pork chops with farro and cranberry chutney. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds good. Spaghetti squash and marinara with mushrooms and garlic knots. Garlic knots are great. Spicy shrimp and Korean rice cakes with cabbage. And furry kaki. I can't be sure how you pronounce that, but that's how I'm going to do it. Anyways, it's affordable. It's less than $10 per meal per person. They deliver it all to you. It's seasonal. It's flexible. It changes. You get to go online, pick your meals. Everything's great. So here's what you do. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/Greggy. You will love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. That's blueapron.com/Greggy. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. Nick?
Yes.
What's your topic?
Building off of La La Land, I want to talk about musicals.
Yes.
I'm very excited for La La Land. I think it represents a pretty unique thing that I don't think we've seen in a very long time, which is, A, it's a wholly original musical. B, it's not something that's necessarily in vogue right now in the time of Star Wars movies and comic book movies. But everyone seems pretty hyped about that. And there's and I think it's because there's just a certain magic to the trailer and a magic to the cast and a magic to Damien Chazelle, who's the guy that did Whiplash. So I wanted to gauge, hear from you guys what your thoughts were on it and musicals in general right now. Keeping in mind, of course, that they're still doing all these live event musicals. They just did Hairspray, which was I think did the worst of all of them up to date. And then, obviously Disney's still pumping out musicals left and right, and they've got a whole slate of live action musicals that are coming out in the next few years. So I just wanted to gauge your guys' temperature on these. And are you excited about them?
Yeah, I'm excited for La La Land. Yeah. That trailer is awesome, and it's what we've talked a lot in the last topic of I love Emma Stone and I love Ryan Gosling. So sure, you're in this movie that looks fun, and that's the big thing. What you're talking about, it's not a popular thing in Star Wars and comic books and all these things, but it's standing out because it's different, because it looks so different. And that trailer feels so different and feels so fun.
It pops.
Exactly.
There's a magic to it.
It's it's the one moment in the trailer where she goes, "I just heard you play," and he walks up and just immediately starts kissing her.
It's fucking
I'm
awesome.
Like,
but then it's that.
Good trailer.
Would have been a good moment in a trailer, but the thing that totally sold me on it was the music sounds very fun, and the scenes of them in the observatory thing and
they're floating around,
they're floating around, the effects and shit. It's cool because it is the first time in a very long time that we're getting a musical that's not based on a Broadway play, correct? Right?
Yeah.
And that's awesome because it's made to be a movie, so it's a fucking visual spectacle. Whereas usually there's movies based on Broadway stuff that is just kind of adapting stage plays, so they're a little bit more grounded.
Sure.
Because they have to be, because everything's on a set and people are actually acting it out. It's super cool. And with things like Hamilton on that side, and a couple years ago was the Wicked, yeah.
The Book of Mormon.
And Book of Mormon, yeah. They're definitely, they're still niche, but they're coming back in vogue. And I think all the Hairspray and stuff, that's more just
well, Hairspray was huge.
Fun. I'm talking about the
the live action. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that Hairspray was a legitimately huge, is still a huge thing in
What
Broadway
up, Ricky
musical.
Lake?
Yeah.
Was she in it?
Well, yeah, it was based on she was in the original movie with Johnny Depp. I think it was her and Johnny Depp. Oh, no, that's Crybaby, I'm thinking. Ricky Lake was in Hairspray with Harvey Fierstein and who else was in it? I'm looking at you. You've never seen it.
No, I've seen Hairspray. That's how I just gave a shout out to Ricky Lake, but I don't remember the main guy she was in there with. Because it was
Zac Efron? No.
It was
Zac Efron was in Hairspray.
Was he? Yeah. Okay,
yeah, the remake though. Not
this one. That's what I'm talking about. There was a movie and then it became. Then I think the movie was based on the Broadway play though.
There was a play. Then there was a movie. Then there was a
Sonny Bono. Is that who you're trying to say?
TV show.
Right. Anyway, so recently they redid the Broadway show in this live format, and everyone seemed to like it. Have you guys ever seen an actual musical on Broadway?
Not on Broadway, no.
Or just in general, in a musical, like on stage as a stage
Yeah,
play?
Les Mis, Wicked.
What did you think of Wicked?
I liked Wicked a lot.
Yeah,
that was real cool.
It's a fascinating medium, and as is any stage play. Like when I saw the Harry Potter show in London, it just doesn't. You can't recreate that in any other setting. When you're actually seeing real actors and you're seeing the spectacle of something that real like artists have put on, and it's not fake and there's no CG. There's something special about when that all comes together. So I'm very excited. And of course, if you haven't figured it out by now, we haven't seen La La Land. I'm very excited to see La La Land and report back on that because I hope they can actually capture. Some of that magic, and it looks like they are. And also, it's about probably my most favorite subject, which is trying to make it in Hollywood. It's very romantic. It's very much
something
about
very special about it.
A down and out jazz pianist and a would be actress. So I don't know, pretty excited about it. But then I went and saw Moana and kind of kicked my feeling for a musical.
I don't understand how you didn't like it. So many people liked it. It seemed like it was a slam dunk. The Rock.
I thought it was good. I didn't think that the music was particularly standout, and that was my biggest gripe with it.
That's interesting. 'Cause I haven't seen it yet, but all the people I know that have seen it say that the music is a step up from Disney stuff in recent years.
There is the one song that they keep coming back to, which I thought was good. Everything else, I couldn't tell you what was good or bad about it. It's not Frozen by any stretch of the imagination. In that, I don't think that they're I don't think they're trying to do anything particularly new with it. It was beautifully made, all the technicality, but like the technical nature of the movie was gorgeous. But it was a little weird for me. I don't know. And part of it may have had to do with the fact that it's so very much culturally placed in the Hawaiian culture that I think that maybe some part of it was like I had a little hard time relating to it. I've never been to Hawaii. I'm not familiar with that much. I'm not familiar with the legend of Maui, who is the character that The Rock plays. And so I just, watching it, I'm like, there's nothing for me really to grasp here as a 36-year-old white adult male watching this with his friends. But it was fun, and it's definitely worth a watch. It's not, when you think Frozen, you're like, oh, that's something that really has a cultural impact and really pushes the medium forward and really pushes the sort of the themes forward and does something new. This one I think is kind of a little more paint by numbers.
That's interesting. I mean, I know definitely from the whole cultural representation thing, I know that Moana is getting a lot of positive feedback for giving, colored princesses more of a viable option. I mean, it's the first real, Pacific Islander.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that are like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, there'll be someone at Disneyland that's
looks like me.
Yeah. And so.
No, and again, I'm not knocking the film for that. It's just from my perspective, it's just a culture I know nothing about. And it's really it's the first time me watching a movie that was completely set in that world. And it was cool, but I don't know. There's just something about it that didn't grab me. It wasn't 100% for me on that.
I mean, that's the thing. Settings can really make or break stuff for you. Like Pokemon Sun and Moon, I was so not interested in it because it was that whole Hawaiian thing. I'm just like, I don't really like that. Playing it, I'm like, I dealt with it and I was cool with it, but it's like, I don't really like Hawaii. I love Hawaii. I love being there, but I don't like it as like a,
place to catch fake monsters.
Sure.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha. No, you don't want to catch
real
real
to me,
monsters.
damn it.
Sorry about that. Colin, how do you feel about musicals?
I think they're fun. I mean, I used to love Rent when I was a kid, and
what did you loved Rent?
Yeah,
really?
Mm-hmm. I was very exposed to
what
these things.
side were you on that in that whole argument with Rent? Because my biggest criticism of Rent is that it's just about from my perspective, I see it from the landlord who's just trying to get his fucking rent from these people that won't pay rent.
Yeah, so my sister Dana was really into growing up where I grew up, we were in great proximity to Broadway, so she used to go to see plays all the time, and even in high school and in college, and so I was just introduced to these things through soundtracks that she would buy, and I know the Rent soundtrack really well. I also really loved the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. What is it called? Todd.
Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
I liked that one a lot.
If we're giving shout outs to soundtracks we listened to and never watched the whole thing. Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I was rocking Donny Osmond on my CD player.
So Sweeney Todd, it was a weird one. Me and Mike Pope did the light and sound for a production of that in high school. And
really?
So, yeah, and it was like my only exposure to that ever. I did the lights for it. The show was fun. And it was for this thing called Gateway, which is like a pretty big Long Island traveling playhouse where people groups come from Broadway or from other places and stay at this basically estate on Long Island and then put on shows for a few days
really
and then
cool.
they leave. So people really like that, and they have a youth thing that kind of fills the space between when big names come every few weeks. And so we got involved in that. And I remember that soundtrack really well too. It was really, really good. So I think musicals are fun. The one musical I actually really, really want to see that I think is a little more of like skews way older is Jersey Boys, because I'm a huge I'm a huge Four Seasons fan, and I'd love to see that.
That's a perfect example of I watched the movie and I'm like, fuck, I should have seen this on the stage. That is a show that needs to be seen live. The movie's cool and the music's fantastic. Don't get me wrong, because it's all that Frankie Valli music and that old school crooning music. But that's one that if it ever comes, I don't think it's here. It was here.
It was here for a long time, yeah.
But I think it's gone now. If it ever comes back, we should go see that. I'd love to see that on stage.
I try to, whenever I go to Vegas, I'm not, I don't have the foresight enough to be like, I want to go see a show.
Yeah.
And when I'm there, I look and then everyone's scalping tickets to Jersey Boys or to Penn and Teller or something like that. And I'm like, I'd love to go see one of these things. And Jersey Boys they're just like always there. I'm sure it's like the 17th cast or whatever. I don't care. It's like, as long as they sound like Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons, that's cool with me. So, so there's certain musicals that speak to me. I have no problem with the genre. I think it takes an incredible amount of talent. I have more of an aversion to seeing anything on a stage if I can see it on a screen. So that's just my philosophical stance, not against it, but with it, where I'm like, I'll go see these things, but I'm not like super about it. You know?
Well, it's an uncomfortable sort of setting, like the stage show is not something that you feel like you can get up and move around or go to the bathroom whenever you need to. You're kind of locked into that chair until the act break. And there is also something where it's a much more active manner of viewing, because you're actually watching real people who can see you. Yeah. So if you're not like, you're just aware that there's like, these are real people on stage. And then of course the cast does their job right. You disappear into it like you would anything else. But yeah, I mean, my original exposure to musicals was through my brother, who in high school started doing musicals there, and actually that kind of led me to do them. But he did Cabaret, I think it was the first one he did, and then I think they did Chicago, and then those just happened to be, obviously they were pretty popular at the time, and then both of those got made into movies after Moulin Rouge hit and was like huge. Everyone's like, let's do more musicals, and then Chicago was huge and Cabaret was big too. Wait, did they do Cabaret? They redid Cabaret, I think. They definitely did Chicago. That was the Richard Gere, Renee Zellweger.
Yeah. But
I think Cabaret was also redone, if I'm not mistaken.
Anyway, with Nightcrawler, or was he in the Broadway one?
He might have been in the Broadway one.
Alan Cummings, that's his name.
Yeah.
But, it was similar from you. Like, I think, the Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat soundtrack, right, was just like everywhere. Of course, I was going to a Catholic school, so like I liked enough of the songs to pick up the CD or ask for the CD and listen to it. But then getting to high school, like I did all the plays and I did most of the musicals. You know what I mean? That was the thing of like, okay, cool, and that's where like, all right, French class was going to go see Les Mis, so I was like, all right, well, I'll go see Les Mis one night or whatever it was, and we did like. I have to have seen more and just not remember them. Not that many, but no. And then like going to the funny thing about the people being able to see you cracks me up, because there's Illinois Theater Fest, which is like the thing where all the theater kids go from the different schools come together and the best shows are put on or whatever. And none of ours ever got put on, obviously. But you went there and it was a way to get out of class and go south in Illinois and just fucking hang out with your friends and see plays and stuff. And we went and saw one that I think was about Mark Twain. I forget. It's not important to the story. But we were front row for it. And the two actors came out and went to the front of the stage right in front of us. And as the lights come up, the woman's like acts like she has stones in her hands and goes like this, and like she's skipping them on a lake. But it was so jarring that I freaked the fuck out thinking she was throwing something at me. Because she did it and did that, and I was like, in the front row, like, fucking Jesus. And like, to their credit of these like high schools, junior and seniors, nobody reacted. But they had to have seen me just wig the fuck out. I'm like, what the fuck? And all my friends, like all the other theater kids around me were losing their minds that I just fucking done this. But it was
that's
awesome. I was like, what the hell is you doing? Oh, Jesus God.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus God.
But do you know what's strange to me is that none of us here got caught up in the Hamilton fever.
But see, that's my thing is like
everyone on the fucking Twitter for like a month. Yeah,
but
like,
I mean,
how about that?
But that's the thing about it, where it's like
suck Hamilton.
I feel like I want to go the other direction with it, where for Wicked, I forget, I can't even think of the song, Popular or whatever. The song was so popular, and I was like, that's a good song. But I'm not going to pick up the soundtrack. I want to see the show, and then I'll listen to the music, which I did for a little bit. You know what I mean? Whereas I don't want to see it out of context. Like
Hamilton's coming.
Yeah, it is. And the tickets went on sale last night, and it was like a 4-hour wait to be in there, and then it was like $1,200.
Fucking stoked. Yeah,
it's insane to get tickets from us here last night. But like,
Lion King's here. It's easy to get those tickets.
Fuck that. I don't want to see that crap.
Fuck you.
I'll go see Lion King with you.
But Book of Mormon, like, is the other thing where you can't get tickets to it. It came through San Francisco, and it was super. And I'm like, it's supposedly awesome. It's supposedly really fucking good. But I don't want to listen to the soundtrack and not see it. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather, and like, same thing with Hamilton, where it's like, Hamilton sounds super cool, but I don't want to just listen to the soundtrack and not see it.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's some part of me that will never like Hamilton.
I mean, from what I saw, because everyone was inundating me with these things, and I watched some videos and watched some songs. I'm like, this is fine. I don't get why this is such a huge phenomenon. But again, I don't have all of the context that is necessary. You would think that I would like it more.
A lot of people just really thought it was cool, and then everyone else was like, "I'll think it's cool too." And then I listened to the music, and I was like, I was exactly the same with you. I was like, it sounds like Linkin Park did a musical about Alexander Hamilton. I'm like, that's all it does to me.
Now you sold me on
Mike Shinoda as John Jay.
Shout out to Grease. We haven't talked about Grease.
Oh, Grease.
Grease sucks too.
Grease is fucking
You got the classic.
Grease was
There's
I
some
think the
moments in
first
it that
Grease
are
was
a
the
little
first
lolly.
musical in high school. I was like, I'm good. I don't need to
Really?
do I don't
Music's
need
so
to
good
do
in
this.
Grease, though.
I don't
They
need to
got
do
the
Grease.
jams. They got the hits.
Grease lightning.
So good. Come the fuck on. But the Lion King though was the only one I saw in real life, and it wasn't even a whole thing. Like when I was really little, I must have been like 6. They did a thing in SF where it was just like a preview thing. So they only did Circle of Life, and that shit blew my mind. And I think that experience explains me today. Like just like the whole performance aspect of it, and just the like. There's nothing, you can't go bigger than that. There's these fucking giraffes walking through, and the fucking, like, the set is amazing. Everything about it was like so holy shit that I was just like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to be a fucking Lion King.
There you go.
But not do musicals.
But not musicals. But then it's
don't
like,
wanna
I don't know, I love musicals a lot for how few of them I've seen, but I really like listening to music because I feel like they attack music in such a unique way where musicals, the vocals and the instruments align in such a way that you don't hear in normal music, right? Where it's like the voice is kind of just another instrument to it. And it's like they weave in and out of each other in very interesting ways. And like instruments are used completely differently than they are normally. And there'll be like instrumental sections in places that add to the pacing of the play that songs would never do. And it's just interesting. It kind of keeps you on your feet. There's all these weird sound effects and shit being made with violins or like random ass instruments. And that's cool.
Yeah.
And I really, really fell in love with musicals with South Park, Bigger, Longer,
musical.
Uncut. That was just fucking perfect. It took this amazing thing, South Park, and it was just like, we're just going to make it 10 million times better by making one of the best movies of all time and having songs that are funny as hell.
Yeah.
And just so clever, so smart.
Yeah, I love that. I still remember the soundtrack. I bought that. It was awesome. It was really, really good. Yeah. Kyle's mom's a bitch. That was a
Biggest bitch in the whole wide
classic
world.
one. I like the In Season God.
Every song is a classic in that shit. There's no bad ones. Like the Satan talking about how he just wants to come up and just be with the people. It's fucking hilarious. Blame Canada.
Yeah, Blame Canada. I remember
Blame
when I was at
Canada's
Northeastern, I remember someone had a Canadian flag hanging in their dorm window or whatever, and people across, it was like at this place called Stetson where it was a big dorm, but then there was like a dining hall there, and the people across the way would just play Blame Canada out of their windows like constantly, like for months, like during like the day, like just to insult this one person they probably didn't even know.
It's great. That's the beauty of South Park. And then there was Team America World Police.
Yeah.
Bizarre movie.
Which I will never forget seeing the trailer for that in theaters, because that was one of those moments, because it's a different time.
The last time that Trey Parker matched them tried to do something different.
If that trailer comes out now, it'd be like, all right, cool, I'm used to it. Actually, I guess the Sausage Party trailer did catch me off guard.
I still haven't seen that. Is it fun?
I haven't seen the movie.
People are so
I watched that. I didn't put it on the
about
list.
it.
The trailer looks like it's like, oh, it's a nice little talking animal movie, but it's talking food. And all of a sudden it gets fucking
it
really
gets nasty.
dark.
I want to see it. It's supposed to be really really inappropriate.
Yeah, I watched it. I forgot. It didn't make my list. I forgot about it. But yeah, I watched it. Enjoyable. Weird ending, but whatever. It's food being weird. Nothing not to like about that.
There you go.
If you didn't know, this has been the Game Over Greggy show each and every week. 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table. Ow. Each bring a random topic conversation for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you get every episode early along with a bunch of exclusive goodies, perks, and deals. Right, Nick?
Correct.
Thanks, bud. If you have no money to toss our way, no
Correct.
big deal. Head over to youtube.com/kindafunny, where you get every episode broken up day by day, topic by topic, until it goes up is one big MP3 and video for your viewing and or listening pleasure. Until next time, have a happy new year, and know it's been our pleasure to serve you.